let's continue with the chapter. Page number 58, paragraph number 8. I felt then the great presence of the creator of this world and his universe. This is the fact. When we feel afraid, when we are in problem, whom do we remember? We remember God. Nothing appears to us in our mind. First thought that comes to us is about God. So now he is telling that I was feeling nothing, only the presence of the creator, means the God who has created this. God was there. Now he is believing and he wants to think about God. God, please help me, take me out of this situation. God was there. Suppose I said something to end. He did not like it. Now he is thinking that maybe I have said something wrong. That's why God is punishing me with this. Suppose I said something and he did not like it. I tried in my imagination to write in bright letters outside my little heart the word, "Oh God." And now what is thinking? Oh God. He wanted that God should help him. There was some pain in my left arm, and now that snake had coiled very hard. So there was pain in his left arm. It started paining. It was as if a thick leaded rod, means as if the hand was, it started paining because the snake had coiled really very hard, and the hand felt like a rod. No, a rod made of molten fire. But then he's correcting himself. Not only this normal rod, but made up out of fire, means now it was as if it was, the hand was burning. Was slowly but powerfully crushing my arms. Now the snake was tightening its grip and the hand was being crushed. The arm was beginning to be drained of all the strength. Now what happens when something you tie very hard to your hand? The blood circulation stops, and then what happens? You cannot work with your hand and it starts paining. So the same thing was happening here slowly, and as if the hand was being crushed, it became powerless. The arm was beginning to be drained, and as if the hand had no energy, no strength in it. The snake was crushing the arm. What could I do? But what could he do? If he moved his arms, then the snake would really bite him because it was a cobra. At my slightest movement, the snake would strike me. Death lurked 4 inches away. Means he's saying that if I moved a bit also, the snake would bite me. And he's saying that death was just 4 inches away from me. You can imagine, the death was so close, only 4 inches away from him. He could die any time. Suppose it struck, what was the medicine I had to take? Now he's saying, by chance if the snake would have bitten me, what medicine should I take? There were no medicines in the room. I was but a poor, foolish and stupid doctor. He is saying, see, if the snake is going to bite me, I don't have even medicine in my room. I was such a foolish doctor. I should have kept medicine of that. I forgot my danger and smiled feebly at myself, means foolishly. And he's smiling at himself. What kind of doctor I am? I don't even have the medicine at home. It seemed as if God appreciated that. Now he is saying that God appreciated this movement, and the snake turned its head. It looked into the mirror and saw its reflection. Now during that incident, what happened? The snake slowly turned, and when it turned, there was a mirror which the writer was having. So when the snake saw its reflection in the mirror, what happened? The snake accidentally saw the reflection of it in the mirror. I do not claim that it was the first snake that had ever looked into a mirror. And he is saying that maybe this is the snake in the entire universe who is looking at itself in the mirror, because animals do not look in the mirror, humans do. And he is thinking about that. But it was certain that the snake was looking into the mirror. Was it admiring its own beauty? Now when he is saying, see, this is all the funny thoughts he is having. That when the snake was looking at himself in the mirror, was he thinking that the snake himself is very handsome and is looking at himself in the mirror just like I was looking? Was it admiring, means appreciating its own beauty? Oh, the snake is looking in the mirror. Snake is thinking, how beautiful I look in the mirror, how handsome I am. Was it trying to make an important decision about growing a mustache? Now he is just as he made the decision by looking at himself and was saying that I look so handsome, I'll grow a mustache and I'll look more handsome. Is also the snake thinking of growing a mustache? Then it will look more handsome? Or using an eyeshadow, what the girls use many times, the eyeshadow. Is it the snake is also thinking about using an eyeshadow to look beautiful? And mascara, that may also be some kind of a makeup, and the snake also wants mascara, or wearing a vermilion spot on its forehead. Now all these things are what the women use for to as a fashion. So now he is thinking that this the snake is also thinking of wearing this and having this and mascara and eyeshadow and all these things. And if he is a male, then might be thinking of growing a mustache. I did not know anything for certain. He is saying that I don't know what the snake is looking at, but it is appreciating itself in the mirror. What sex was the snake? Was it a male or female? Now he is thinking about, is he looking at self? Now what might he be thinking? Is the snake really a male or a female? I will never know. And he is saying, I will never know if it is a male or a female. For the snake unwound itself from my arm and slowly slithered into my lap. But during that time when he was thinking, the snake slowly coiled outside, removed the hardened coil from his hand and slowly slithered, means moved into my lap, and then went to the, when the writer was sitting on the chair, on the lap of the writer. From there it crept onto the table and moved towards the mirror. Crept means moved slowly, slowly. From there, from his lap, the snake climbed the table, and from the table, the mirror was lying there. The snake went in front of the mirror. Perhaps it wanted to enjoy its reflection at close quarters. Now the writer is thinking that the snake wanted to look himself from a close distance in a mirror and look at its own beauty. So he climbed there and he sat in front of the mirror, observing his own beauty, that how beautiful I am as a snake. He is looking at his own beauty. Perhaps it wanted to enjoy its reflection, and he says that he wanted to see closely how beautifully the snake looks. It was no mere image cut in granite. I was suddenly a man of flesh and blood. And now he says, as the snake left my arm, again I became a person of flesh and blood. Up till now I was a stone. Again I became a human being with flesh and blood. Till then I was not even moving. I became like a stone. Still holding my breath. See, still he is holding his breath. I got up from the chair. I quietly went out through the door into the veranda. From there I leapt into the yard and ran for all I was worth. So as the writer got the chance, slowly the writer stood up without making a noise. As he stood up, he went outside the veranda, then the yard, and then he started running like anything. And he's telling that I ran like for all I was worth. What was my worth? Means I just wanted to leave that room and run like a mad person away from there. Phew, each of us heaved a sigh of relief. So this was the story that the doctor was telling others. So as he left the room, and as he never looked behind, and he started running from there. So here the other those who were listening to the story, they asked someone asked him, doctor, is your wife very fat? Now somebody is still thinking of the wife, and he's saying, doctor, is your wife fat? No, the doctor said, well, otherwise. My life companion is thin, a ready person with the gift of a sprinter. Now he is saying, no, I did not. My wife is not at all fat. She is very, very slim, a thin person, and she is a good sprinter. Sprinter means the person who runs very fast in a race. So she can run very fast. She is very thin. She is not fat. So somebody else who was sitting asked another question, doctor, when you ran, did the snake follow you? So people are asking him different questions. The doctor, when you are running, did the snake also run behind you and follow you? The doctor replied, I ran and ran till I reached a friend's house. The doctor said, I did not look behind. I just started running. I did not look behind until my friend's house. I continuously ran. Immediately, I smeared oil all over myself and took a bath. When he reached his friend's house, what did he do? He put on oil on himself and then he took a bath. I changed into fresh clothes. The next morning at about 8:30, I took my friends and one or two others to my room to move my things from there. So what did he do? He spent the night at his friend's house, and the next day he took his friends and few of the other people also with him, and he went to his room the next day in the morning, to his room, and he wanted to move his things and he wanted to leave that room. He did not want to stay there, so he wanted to shift from there. I took my friends and I wanted to move my things from there. He wanted to move his things, whatever he had, and he wanted to leave the room. But we found we had a little to carry. But when they reached there, we found that there was nothing much to carry back. Why? Some thief had removed most of my things. See, he left the room open. There was he did not lock. He just ran away from the room, leaving the room open throughout the night. So the thieves had actually stolen what was there in his room. The thief had stolen all the things from his room. So little. He says that now I don't have anything much to carry. Some thief had removed most of my things. The room had been cleared out, means it was being robbed. The entire things, all the things were taken from his room. But not really. The thief had left behind one thing as a final insult. And what does he say? The thieves also wanted to insult me, so they left one thing. What did they leave? What was that? Somebody asked. I asked. The doctor said, my vest, a dirty one. There was a vest that was lying in the room, and it was so dirty that the thief also did not want it. They left it there as an insult, that you are wearing these types of dirty clothes, you keep it for yourself, will not even take this. So the thieves did not take that vest. Now that was an insult for him. The fellow had such a sense of cleanliness. Now he is praising the thief. What is he saying? The person whoever had robbed my house was a person who had a lots of sense of cleanliness. He was a thief, but he was thinking about cleanliness. My vest was so dirty, he did not even take it. The rascals could have taken it and used it, and he is thinking about, and he is giving one more option, that they are foolish rascals, that they should have taken the vest, washed it with soap and water. It was so dirty, they could have used it. They could have taken it. It was so dirty, they could have washed it and then used it. But then too, they did not take it. Did you see the snake the next day, doctor? Then somebody else from his friend asked, doctor, did you see the snake the next day when you went there to take up your stuff? Did you see the snake? The doctor laughed. I have never seen it since. What did the doctor say? After that, I never saw that snake ever in my life, because I never see it since. It was a snake which was taken with its own beauty. Now what does he say? That snake, when it saw itself in the mirror, it was attracted with its own beauty, and after that I never saw him again. So this is the end of the story. Now a bit of message from the story. What do we understand from after going through the story? That one should never be proud of one's beauty, strength and achievement. Now and then again the writer was saying, I am a bachelor, I am a doctor, I am very handsome. So this is the message, that one should never be proud of one's beauty, strength or achievement. Next thing is, the fear of death makes a person realize how futile, means how worthless the world achievements are. In front of when death strikes you, all the possessions, all the money, all the things become very, very futile, means without any value. What becomes important is the life of the person. How many possessions and properties you might have, but at the time of death, and when you think that death is just in front of you, everything becomes useless, nothing matters. One more thing, it is faith in God and modesty in thought which makes a person strong. So you should always have faith in God, and modesty of thoughts. You should have your thoughts should be always modest. That makes you a strong person. In this story, the doctor of the story is cured of his arrogance after a close brush with death. He was also a bit of arrogant person because he was thinking about marrying a girl who was fat. Then he could create any mistake. Then she could not run behind him. Then he used to always think that I am very handsome. I look more attractive. I have a very good smile. I am a doctor. I am a bachelor. This was his arrogance. But when he had a close call with death, he forgot everything. So this is the snake and the mirror. There are questions on the page number 60 that and 61. So you have to go through the lesson twice, read the lesson twice, and complete the question and answers. We'll go through it later on. Thank you.